A few days ago, a thought popped up in my mind just randomly of why do bad comments and bad things stick with us so much more than good compliments or just everyday things. So then I researched a bit about this and I've I found out that evolutionarily speaking, bad things stuck with us a lot more because those were the things that warned us for us to not feel those emotions again. Imagine our ancestors, they would sometimes eat poison ivy and end up sick or even end up dying. They would step on a thorn and it would hurt them. They heard the growl of a tiger, but they didn't take it as seriously, and they ended up losing one of their tribe members. That thing stuck with them, and that warned them to not take that particular situation again lightly. That is exactly what happens with us in the modern day as well. We get random pesky comments from our colleagues, from our friends, from our family as well sometimes. And us being social animals, we feel like those are threats towards us. And they stick with us a lot more than normal comments. To put it lightly, we can say that bad things are like fire alarms, and normal things and good compliments, the everyday experiences that we go through are like background music. And that is why we end up focusing on the bad things a lot more than other things. Now, there's after this, another thought popped up in my mind was that while we were younger, why did bad things stick with us a lot more? And why do they stick with us for longer and more severely? Then I found out it's because when we are younger as a child, our personality is still developing, and a major part of how our personality develops is by the way others react to our actions and our behavior. And that is why, again, bad things stick with us so that we don't have to go through it again. We don't end up doing actions so that we don't end up doing actions that will end up us end us up in that bad situation again. So that is why when a bad thing happened to you when you were younger, you replay that memory again and again in your mind so that the brain is trying to find out ways that we could have avoided that and we can avoid that in the future if we end up in the same situation. uh, yeah yeah, and us being social animals, that is how those thoughts are ingrained into the very foundation of our brain and our personality, and we end up using these comments of these to end up making a critic, an internal critic in your mind that follows us throughout our adulthood. Yeah, that is pretty fucked up, but it is what it is. Every day we deal with a critic in our mind, and yeah. So if you are dealing with any particular comments or particular behavior that you would like to not have in you and which was ingrained in you when you were a child, I have just one piece of advice for you, and it can really help you eradicate this behavior or this particular personality trait that you don't want in yourself. It's by replay that memory in your mind, whatever it is, but look at it through the eye of the adult version of you. Now there's one of two things that can happen in this situation. Best case scenario being you'll just brush it off and call it childish and forget about it, right? And that's how you'll grow. Because quite honestly, we grow by growing, basically by emotionally calibrating ourselves, emotionally tuning ourselves. And the second thing that can happen is you don't feel any different, but you do feel like you need to change something. So here you need to analyze what exactly has happened in your memory and how it has affected you and why you do not want this in your life. A simple example being me, I I really liked playing the victim card in every situation that there was, and that was because it gave me attention. In the smallest of tasks that I was given, I used to blame it on everybody else and say it was not my fault, actually, it was his fault. It was because of him that I couldn't do it. I am the victim here. On the smallest of inconveniences, I would uh, exaggerate them to such a degree that it would just end up giving me more attention than I actually would have needed. Now, here I didn't know that I was playing the victim card until I realized that I was basically. But yeah, this is how you can analyze by playing multiple memories in your mind regarding the same issue, or you might even not know that the root cause of those issues is the same thing. But yeah, this is how you can analyze your emotions and grow. I really hope you do take this advice, and I hope you do find this advice helpful.